Hello, welcome to my vlog for the 28th of January. So, what happened in the last 14 days? Nothing, because I was waiting on AliExpress to get me my cable for my CR Touch. So basically I printed this new support here to get my CR Touch on the side of the nozzle, because I saw from Nathan Make Robots and other content creators or other engineers, actually 3D printers, that this allow you to get some correction on the bed being twisted on the meshing. But since the cable was short, I had the brilliant idea of cutting the cable and making an extension. But this gave me an error, so I ended up buying replacement cables from AliExpress. That took some time. I'm pretty sure I could have fixed it with some more time, but yes, I'll just rather just get something properly done. Maybe the problem is not me changing the cables, but just the added resistance of the cable size and the soldering. Guys, so because the cable is wounded here, I need to change all this cable all the way to the motherboard. I mean, they could have had maybe just a shorter section I could change here, because this is the only spot where you can break this cable. Well, it's going to be a major work. Isn't this perfect? The screw came off the joint. I will need to put it back and tighten this. Maybe that was the reason I was getting some layer shifts. I'll look into that. 230 volts. What is my voltage? Of course it's the right one. Only the Americans use 115. So yes, so that's one spot from where maybe I was getting uncertainty in my prints. The lack of proper connection between this screw and the driver. Look. So it's going to be a major job. I need to open here to get this cable unconnected and switch it out. So it seems this connector here was protected by some hot glue. Maybe I'll do the same and put some just to protect it. I think the idea is to avoid vibrations. So because this portion of the cable was bent out of contact, I need to substitute the cable for the stepper motor and for the position sensor and open here. I know, while we could just have one cable here for the tool head. Okay, lesson learned. So I'll use a hot glue gun to try to put some glue here to make sure the connector doesn't move, because that's the way I found it. Well, I'm not going to put too much because of course I don't know what is the quality of the hot glue that was put from factory, but since this is just a press-fitted connector, maybe their concern was that during while you are using the printer you see the color of the glue they use. So I just put a little bit here just to make sure I'm holding this connector in place. Not too much. Now let's close this and continue. Okay, so I put the plate back up, and don't you think about it, I have 3 extra screws that I cannot get back in place. So do I look why, or do I just close it and keep the extra screws? What do you think? Everything is connected. Let's see if we can auto level. Okay, auto level. Let me set the temperature at 60 degrees. Okay, the bed is warm. Let's start calibration. And touch deploy failed. First axis. Okay, let's on my axis. Hey, looks like it's on. I just needed to press a little bit to have actual contact. So let's see if I can get it now. with my Terminator touch. Yes! Blue. Good. So remember, this axis here was actually, this screw was actually free. It was not tight from factory. So maybe that was the reason I was getting some bad layer lines. To tighten this up again. So let's try if I can fix it. The issue is that the screw that lifts the bed was not properly connected to this stepper motor, and this is the way I found it. So maybe it was not screwed properly from factory, and this may be the reason I had some layer defects. Let me unscrew it and then try to screw it back. Okay, so I tighten up the connector of this screw axis. It was unscrewed, so maybe it was not properly screwed from factory. And also this one, based on the counsel of Nathan made robots, you need to first unscrew it to free the tension twist that you have in this axle, and then tighten it back. Okay, let's go for it. Let's first arm all the axes. So I plan in the future to make this support here in PETG, so it's more resistant to temperature and less subject to creep, because it is in PLA. So PLA is not resistant to temperature and cannot take load over time. Of course, I don't put any load on this one because the sensor is supposed to lift when it touches something. But for the printer to be more resistant, I'll consider using a PETG or ABS part for this. And as you see, I upgraded also the fan to a much bigger fan, 20 millimeter thickness instead of 10, because all the 10s I had will burn every 2-3 months. So maybe a bigger fan will allow me to cool better and also not burn so fast. And to keep the fan away from the heat, I'm using this ABS separator. Okay, looks like I have proper homing. Good, perfect. Now let's calibrate auto level. Oh, before auto leveling, I need to do some modifications to the firmware. I will be right back. It's finally working, so I had to change the routing of the cable for the cable not to be in tension. That was giving me false contact. And after I had the cable securely connected, I put some hot glue on the connectors to just try to not have it move during operation. So one thing I learned is that most connectors in this printer are too weak to deal with acceleration and high velocities. So they are mostly held in place by hot glue. So a quick summary of the Vilog. My Ender 5S1 had 50 days of print time, which is 1,200 hours. I had a major failure on my tool head cable. There is a defect there. There is no protection sock at the beginning of the tool head cable. So it bent there and there was false contact. So I had to change the cable all the way to the motherboard. Also, I tried to move the CR touch from the back of the nozzle to the side to try to solve a problem about automatic bed leveling. And this one also took me time because I tried to do a DIA cable, soldering bits of cable to the original connector, doing this. You see, I soldered this one, and it was giving me fault. I was not sure if the fault was because I chose the wrong cables, I missed the order, or because the soldering was not good. So I just bought some cables from Ali, these ones, and this one worked. But then I discovered that the connectors on the Ender 5S1 are very fragile. So they can connect, they can make contact, but if they move even slightly, you lose connection and then you get an error. So even them from factory, they put hot glue on top of the connectors to try to keep them fixed. So that's what I did, and now the printer is working. My current project is to try to finally get my decorative multi-board up, to put some old phones and showcase some of my prints for videos and promotion. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and see you in next vlog of 3D Print Africa.